welcome to another episode of 406 Tech Talk. I think we'll get some steam generated, and as blossoms start growing, the stem of that is STEM. So,
what do you mean by this, Charles?
So STEM, there's a big sort of change and emphasis and push toward really embracing science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. And we throw the arts in there to make STEM. So I think that partnership and the joining of all those topics is important.
We, as a technology integration specialist team, were invited to have a booth to participate in the Chicks in Science event. And if you've never been to Chicks in Science, it's a great event, kind of trying to get girls to remember that they're not only a huge part of learning the STEM fields, but someday having careers in those fields, and encouraging them that science and technology and engineering and math is not just for boys, it's for everyone. And starting in about 4th grade, for some reason, studies have shown that girls kind of fall off that wagon. So we want to rope them back in. Saturday, April 12th was a fun day to be a girl in Billings, Montana, especially if you're a girl who's interested in science, technology, engineering, and mathematics.
Well, you can come and learn how to do like other jobs that grown-ups do. It's helpful to pick a career that you might like to do someday. Like here we're at with technology, and we could grow up to help out with technology.
The girls who visited our booth had a chance to get their hands dirty while they experimented with computer coding and visual programming.
Tinker.
And what's Tinker?
It is a website where you it's for puzzles and problem solving.
Excellent. Using software available from code.org and apps like Tinker, Hopscotch, and Lightbot, these girls seem to have a lot of fun being computer nerds. But it wasn't just technology that brought smiles to these girls' faces.
I think it's awesome because not a lot of girls realize how much fun science can be.
I've seen that you can control a robot by computer.
I made my own chapstick, and I went over and I raced the little robot cars over there, and I built a structure using a piece of paper and a 6-inch piece of tape, and it supported 3 rings of paper, or 4 rings actually.
What did the girls think of having a day just for them to come and learn about STEM careers? Not all of them agreed.
I think that everybody should come here, not just girls. I want to be an inventor.
Do you think you need science to invent things?
No, not at all.
Whether inventors, programmers, or whatever the jobs are, careers of the future are going to need strong boys and girls.
I feel like it's just showing that women can do anything men can do.
Sounds like we're smart and we can do most things that everybody else can do.
And it was a fun day for practice. You're a science teacher. You came to us from the realm of science into technology, and it wasn't that drastic of a move.
It really wasn't. You know, and I think, you know, there are lots of things that go hand in hand together, that there's a technology that can go with the topic or the lesson that you're teaching. And I think it's important for students and for everyone to understand that there is some science behind most aspects of your life, if not all. And I think that's an important realization, that science is everywhere. We don't always give it the credit or the acknowledgement, because we're often unaware of the pieces hiding behind it. You know, we just grab our phone, we turn something on, we do whatever it is, but there's some science behind it.
You know, STEM is such a good example of technology all coming together.
Yeah.
Like, I think the T is like the STEM of the STEAM, because, you know, music, science, all of that is either enriched or started or is an end product with technology.
Yeah, it's kind of tied together.
into your D2Apps account. And then after you've logged
The value of this program is that you can put that on YouTube, and now my kids will be serious
for the class, what are more experiential elements to their presentation.
And Powtoon is a website program, but what's nice is it's all.
Alright, so this next time I'm going to show you the really powerful part of Nearpod. I asked Chelsea if I could.
Those are the pictures of what it looks like. It's telling you that I have more students that are having to repeat a certain skill 3 times.
Which is my personal one. Iron this is like okay, so that they know to go to that channel.
Didn't answer them, I put it in red. So again, we have the entire class's worth of responses on one page.
Like something where the kids answer, and then they get immediate feedback.
Also, and so this is where I think if I were doing this with a group, I might make it a lot faster, especially if I was doing something at elementary level. Going back to the mode again, so challenge mode, I have to provide the answer.
I, for one, am glad that there's an emphasis on STEM right now, STEAM. Especially like with the event that we just had, Chicks in Science. What a fun event. I was one of those girls. I was always curious about the world, and I would go out and I would make things out of mud and dirt. And then I hit 4th or 5th grade, and I thought that science was for boys, and I thought that science was just for the smart kids. And then I didn't even realize, I tried to avoid every kind of science class that I could until college when I had to take science, and I realized, actually, this is really cool. And I wish that I would have had that. I don't know, I guess just that element of it's not all about molecules or whatever the boring part of science that I thought existed. Right. There's so much more to it. Everything we do in life that we research and want to find out about is some form of science.
Exactly. You don't have to, dive in completely to have an understanding. I think that's a misconception, is that you either know it all or you don't need to bother knowing anything. And so that's so not true. There are so many levels of understanding that you can embrace as you learn science. It doesn't have to be, the deep and sort of heavy topics and background knowledge, but just basic concepts of how the natural world works. And that's
don't you think the same could be said of engineering?
Exactly.
Like, I don't want to be an engineer when I grow up, but I'm fascinated with the way that things work, and why do they work that way, and how does that work? And I think our young kids, we have young sons. But even, our own kids, they're curious about things, and how fun is it as a mom to help them kind of steer their own way through figuring out some of those things.
That's the coolest part of, as a mom, is you get to relearn and you get to rediscover.
Project Lead the Way is the nation's leading provider of in-school curriculum for middle and high schools in engineering and biomedical sciences. We teach programs in a project activity-based format that's engaging, exciting for students, that allows them to learn to problem solve, to think critically, to innovate, and to work collaboratively. Project Lead the Way has grown rapidly over the last several years to now over 5,000 schools in all 50 states because it works. When you walk into a PLW classroom, what you find is tremendous excitement and passion, not only from the teachers but from students. The students engaged in their own learning, the teacher making a transformation from a disseminator of information to a facilitator, a coach, helping students inquire and learn in a deep way. People are looking for solutions. They're looking for ways to engage students in rigorous and relevant work. We've heard that terminology used over the last several years, but finding a program that actually accomplishes those things has been very difficult. PLTW does that, and the results are compelling. One of the most exciting developments of Project Lead the Way is the introduction of our elementary school program in partnership with VEX. to bring rigorous and relevant learning experience to America's children.
We were very eager to pilot Project Lead the Way at the elementary level, in part because we already had a full high school program and we've expanded on the middle school program, so it was an easy jump for us. We were happy to add it to the elementary program the minute we heard about it. It was just something that, of course, why wouldn't we do that? It just makes logical sense.
The elementary curriculum for STEM is just fun and engaging for my students. Really, science has become their favorite subject. They so look forward to our time when we're working on STEM projects.
I am enjoying the STEM curriculum because it is forcing our students to think outside the box and take more risks, and understanding that it's okay to take risks and there's not just one way to get to the answer.
The students are highly engaged. They are very excited about their projects, anxious to explain to you what they're doing, how they're working together, what they're hoping to accomplish, and they really don't want to stop working on that activity to move on to the next thing.
We love Project Lead the Way as a whole, and looking at it at the elementary level now, what we're finding is that those students are able to reach those higher level thinking skills as a natural part of every single day. So in comparing the programs at the various levels, we already see it happening at the high school level tremendously. We're seeing it at the middle school level a little bit more, and now for us it's more looking into the future, saying, oh my gosh, look what we're going to see over the progression of all of these years for these kids. Just exactly what we're hoping for.
Why is art left out of STEM?
Well, there's a movement to kind of put that letter in there, buy a vowel and plop it there to make STEM into STEAM.
Which is very scientific.
It is, and I think it comes from this desire to not forget about, you know, those artistic and cultural influences that come into science and technology and engineering and mathematics. You know, you can design a great building structurally, but if it doesn't, you know, look aesthetically pleasing, there's really no purpose. And so, you know, kind of matching up that form and function between the sciences, the sort of harder sciences, and sort of those disciplines that are kind of fixed and firm, into things that make it accessible to everyone. I think that's the piece that art brings to it, is that accessibility of those things. form and function
Yep.
combined.
And a lot of times our artists, our art teachers and our artist type kids, they have the vision and then they work together with somebody who has the technical skill, and wow, what a cool thing that they end up putting together.
Exactly.
I just think, don't you think creativity is problem solving?
Absolutely.
In so many ways, and like just thinking of your art, so much of it is
patience.
Like, yeah,
My art is
that,
patience.
but like, you know how Terry Bybee said you want to achieve something, so you create a plan to get there. And really that's what an artist does, that's what a scientist does. So I think it would be a nice meld if the A really ends up in, sometimes that art class is that one class that keeps them engaged at school. And
you think about the modern environment of media and entertainment, you need the artistic skills for all those amazing, special effects and CGI.
Music.
Gosh, yeah, look how far that's come in the last.
You have to match that technology with this person who knows where the shadows should be and where the light should reflect and those types of things. So it really is that combination of those skills. You can't necessarily have just one or the other in that case. So you have to have that artistic with that scientific background, that technology understanding.
So who are you and what do you do?
My name is Becky Berg and I work with K-6 teachers with math, professional development, and coaching.
And how long have you been doing that?
Oh, wow. This is actually my 5th year.
Wow. So have you seen a lot of changes in?
Yeah, I really have. It's been really exciting to see what students are doing and how they're really thinking about the math they're working with and trying to make sense of it versus just doing it. So where I've seen some things happening is just even as I think about technology are those virtual manipulatives where those can really allow kids to interact with the problems along with just bringing the real world in is really what we're trying to do a little bit more with is, instead of maybe reading a word problem, bringing real world context into the classroom through video or even through images is really powerful. Teachers are amazing. They're really trying to accomplish a lot out there, and so are kids. And one of the things we're doing to hopefully try to support them a little bit more along the way here is we've been putting out some just virtual math sessions that are about 10 minutes long, because some of the strategies that kids are using to make sense of what they're doing, instead of just follow the steps and the procedures, let's better understand why we're doing that. And so to help teachers understand what those strategies are, we've been putting out just some short video clips.
Let's take a look at using branching with some different measurements. So here, for example, we have a box of mac and cheese cost 99 cents and ramen noodles cost 29 cents. What's the total cost for both? So we're going to use the branching strategy for this, thinking about landmark numbers. And so I can go ahead and think of it as 99 plus 29 cents. So, and this is what we do a lot of times in the grocery store, don't we? We do a compensation method where we think about adding 1 cent to the 99. So now 99 cents plus 1 cent equals $1. And 28 cents. Okay, so that landmark is the dollar. All right, so really, when we think about branching, it's decomposing numbers to make them easier to work with. So for students, when we subtract, breaking numbers down by place value is often a friendly way. I must say, I tend to use branching strategy more frequently when I'm adding, but I do feel it might have a purpose for many situations when subtracting. So let's take a look here at 68 minus 42. I can think about subtracting in chunks or parts. Okay, so here I could think of it as 68 minus 40, okay, equals 28, and then 28 minus 2 equals 26. So did I subtract 42? I did. I just did it in smaller pieces or chunks. Okay? So here I can see I got a difference of 26. All right, so just a reminder, you can go to tinyurl.com, BPS Strategies, for all of the virtual sessions and resources. And then next time, session 6 is going to be working with the open number line and addition.
I hear from a lot of parents and stuff that, you know, the school is just not the way it was when we were kids, and nor should it be. The world is not the way it was when we were kids, and a lot of times they think we're teaching this new math, and it's not that we're teaching new math, it's just that we're teaching it in a different way because we want them to be ready for the careers and the college experience that they're going to have somewhere down the road, careers of which might not even be in existence yet. And so having that deeper, richer understanding of math, so not just for the teachers, but even for the parents, these strategy videos that you're putting together could benefit them too.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and what a great way, rather than the surface level, we're digging a little deeper. It's not new math, we're just taking it to new levels of understanding.
You know, one strategy isn't going to work best for any specific set of numbers. So if they have this toolkit, just like in technology, you have that little tool belt of tools you pull from based on what you're working with. And I think the same is true with math.
Absolutely.
So it's very exciting. It's good for kids.
Have you seen technology making a difference in the learning and teaching of math?
I have. You know, one of the things that we're trying to do is kids are trying to explain what they're doing, because oftentimes what happens is maybe they get into algebra and they sometimes can hit a wall because they've been following steps and they don't understand it to the core of their core maybe, and so technology can allow them some tools that let them explain, be it they record their thinking and, you know, maybe using a screencasting tool, or as they're showing you their solution, you're hearing their voice as well. I also have teachers doing number talks, and some of them that have the interactive projectors are choosing to record that experience.
Which is really cool if you have a kid who's gone, or maybe you need to go back and review something that you did last week or yesterday. What a great use of that.
And having students explain their work, you can catch those little missteps right away and intervene before it becomes part of their permanent thought process.
Absolutely.
It's a lot harder to unteach those wrong steps.
Yes.
So when you have that step-by-step explanation with their sort of metacognition of it, it's great.
It is, because as they're explaining, they oftentimes have a new understanding.
Yeah, that's
yes,
cool.
It's exciting.
What a fun job you must have.
Yes, I love it. It's a privilege to work with.
And getting to come and sit and talk with us. I mean, how fun.
Yes, exactly.
Thank you, Becky.
You're welcome.
One thing that was a huge bummer for my son and my whole family was we missed the local science fair because it happened to be the same night as the school carnival. So Charles actually introduced me to the Google Science Fair, which you can do virtually.
Right.
So
it's kind of an international competition. I've never, as a teacher, been involved or had students involved, but it's been brought to my attention, and it's something I've definitely wanted to work harder to promote. You know, as they say for this year, it's your turn to change the world.
Yeah.
And what a great title for the theme of the year.
Think about what you love. Is it being outdoors? Being creative? Playing sports? Now, think about what you're good at. Maybe it's fixing things, taking care of things, or experimenting. If you could change anything, what would it be? Who would you help? What would you make better? Would you fight pollution? Would you help a friend? Would you clean up a river? It's what you love, what you're good at, and what you want to change. It's more than science.
What do you want to change? I mean, that's really what scientists and engineers and mathematicians and those people in technology are looking for, ways to make life better through science, technology, and engineering.
It's cool that these corporations like Google and another ExxonMobil is another one that you know, they are looking for future graduates to fulfill these jobs that might not exist yet, as we talked about before, but that are a need in our society. And if we're preparing our students as 4th and 5th graders, or you know, on up the ranks, to take jobs in those corporations, it really does behoove them to have an interest in there. And I was so lucky. I got to go to, paid by the ExxonMobil Corporation, and then a couple of other, the Sally Ride Science Academy, which focused all on STEM, and the Phil Mickelson Academy, which again focused on STEM. And it changed my perspective and thoughts on how I teach those subjects, but how I get my students thinking about not just the science and the engineering and technology and math they're learning in class, but in the future, what kind of jobs exist now? What kind of jobs could they have that
they will make?
Yeah,
you
and
know,
that relate to their hobbies.
There are also all those support jobs that you know, the people who are purchasing agents who buy materials that the scientists need. They don't necessarily work with the materials, but need to know enough to get the right grade and the proper densities. And you know, there's all these other sort of appendage support positions that come from other areas like business and those kinds of things that play a crucial role. Maybe not as heavy on the science, but still that understanding they need to do their job effectively. You don't want to purchase the wrong materials or supplies, or
absolutely,
you know, getting those price quotes on those materials to build your spaceship. You don't want to get the wrong ones. You want to know what the scientists.
Yeah, that would be really bad.
Yeah, you don't want the scientist or engineer to get the wrong materials, and so you need to kind of speak a little bit of common language, even though your expertise may be more in the economics side of things.
It's been great having a chance to talk with Becky and see what's out there that's happening with science, technology, engineering, and math in our district, and
the arts.
Yep, and the arts, for sure, the arts. And so we'll keep watching some of those teachers and classrooms.
And we'd love to see some things you're doing. As the weather gets warmer and you're out and about with the various classes, I know it's a great time to kind of break out of the classroom walls and do some things. Send us a message. Let us see what you're doing. Send us a video clip.
Or let us come make a video clip for you.
Make a video clip. So yeah, we'd love to see kind of what spring brings for you in your STEM and STEAM adventures.
Yes. See you next time.